Let's get right down to business. Wipe your feet on the rug, blow some smoke in the air. Mob Story Season 2, Jerry Capisci Gangland News. Who ordered the stabbing rub out, the wise guy or the witness? For an alleged mob hit, it was pretty unusual. The victim was stabbed to death outside a neighborhood tavern in Yonkers in the fall of 1997, and the attorneys for the Genovese Wiseguy charged with the crime offer an equally unusual theory on behalf of their client. They claim the government's key witness in the case is the man that actually ordered the killing. To make their case, the lawyers have obtained evidence from numerous witnesses, including retired detectives who investigated the murder when it first happened. In recent filings, lawyers for Johnny T. Tortora said that they have obtained evidence that Carmine Francomano Jr. ordered the killing of the victim, a 29-year-old man named Richard Ortiz. The motives, the lawyers say, was your basic mob complaint. Ortiz, Francomano believed, was a snitch who gave information to the Yonkers Police Department in the early 1990s that cops used to shutter a social club run by his dad, Lucchese mobster Carmine Snappy Francomano. As Gangland wrote following Tortora's 2018 arrest, law enforcement sources say Francomano Jr. was the one who told them Tortora was behind the hit. Francomano told the feds that Johnny T ordered the killing of Richard Ortiz because he suspected that Ortiz had stolen money from Joker poker machines that Tortora had in several bars and other locations in Westchester at the time. In 1997, police charged another man, Abdil Chino Saez, with the Ortiz murder. Saez, however, was later released when prosecutors decided they didn't have the evidence to convict him. But sources say Francomano Jr. asserted at the same time that Saez had told him he had killed Richie for Johnny T because he suspected Ortiz was breaking into his machines and stealing money from him. The sources say that Francomano Jr. fingered Saez as the killer and Tortora as the driving force behind the murder in 2015. That was around the same time that Francomano, a former NYC buildings inspector, was completing an 11-month state prison stretch for bribery and other charges. At a court session last month, Tortora attorney Barney Levine declared that the defense team had determined that Francomano Jr., the main witness against our client, had the motive to kill Ortiz. Levin said that evidence that he and co-counsel Richard Levitt had subpoenaed from the Yonkers PD, the Ortiz informant file, and interviews of Francomano Jr.'s and others would back that up. Based on our investigation, said Levine, the Francomano owned and operated social club was shut down by the Yonkers Police Department in 1997 or the end of 96 because of information that Ortiz had told the police about the club. That was the motive for the homicide. In asking Manhattan Federal Court Judge Sidney Stein to approve a subpoena for Yonkers Police Department reports, arrest records, and documentation on what happened with this social club, Levine argued the material was not speculation, but instead highly relevant info that is contrary to the government's theory that Ortiz was killed because he had broken into Joker poker machines. Quote, it turns out my client didn't own any Joker poker machines, and that was not the motive for murder, unquote, said Levine. Quote, the motive for the murder was this individual, Francomano Jr., had a problem with the government's witness unrelated to Mr. Tortora, unquote. Assistant U.S. Attorney Jessica Fender countered that at the government's request, Yonkers police officials had searched their archives and did not find information to support any such club being run from 1996 to 1999, or that Francomano had provided the police any information just prior to his murder. But the search did produce information about an Ortiz arrest for DUI that did lead to his work as a police informer who provided information about the location in 1992 and 1993, Fender acknowledged. The government turned that info, as well as a tape recorded session with a police informer, over to the defense today, just prior to court, the prosecutor said. I think perhaps Mr. Levine has a chance to look at the discovery, Fender added. I think he has what he is looking for, Your Honor. The prosecutor did not discuss the material in open court. When Gangland sought to obtain details about the information, they were told it was sealed. Ask about the material that was turned over. Levine agreed it was favorable to defense, but declined to provide any details. I'll say this, he stated, quote, our investigation has revealed multiple witnesses who will testify that Johnny had absolutely no involvement with the murder in his indictment. He had no motive nor a relationship with the government informant witness Frank Amano Jr., who actually ordered the murder, who participated in it with another cooperator, an apparent reference to Saez. Stein had scheduled oral arguments Tuesday on defense motions to suppress alleged evidence of gambling, loan sharking, money fraud, and other crimes that surfaced during a search of a check cashing business that Tortora operated in Yonkers. In their filings, Levitt and Levine argued that prosecutors did not have probable cause to believe 20 years later that there was any evidence they're related to the 1997 homicide, as the application for the search warrant stated. Tortora, 63, had been detained without bail since his arrest in August of 2018. He faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted of the November 11, 1997 murder of Richard Ortiz. All right, so salute to Jerry Capisci. Thank you very much, sir. Another great article. Again, who ordered the stabbing rub out? The wise guy or the witness? I want you guys to have a great weekend. That's three mob stories in a row. That should keep you guys occupied till Sunday. I'm going to shut down the system till tomorrow, and let's see if the Wirecast can reboot itself and authenticate my username. That's the problem. I can't authenticate it for some reason. Everybody have a good weekend. Salute. We will talk soon.